Till I never got it, oh boy, singing down.
I thought he was gonna start. I'm already streaming. Yeah. But it's okay. I can stop, start, whatever.
Yeah, there's no limit, huh? I mean, but what
It
happens
just.
When I
if
was
it's like too
born, the
long and then
Jesus
suddenly
way.
your phone, if it goes down?
Well, I have a Wi-Fi. So the only limit is how much internet connection I have.
Slave.
Oh, you have like a modem?
I have a hotspot in my purse. Yeah. But there.
Ooh.
Hey guys, welcome to the first event for the Revolutionary Poets Brigade here in Los Angeles. Before we get started, I'm just going to lay down kind of like the ground stuff for the evening here. Each poet, because we're going to have so many people reading tonight, each poet's asked to read only one poem, keep it under 5 minutes. Please respect that so everyone has time for the mic. We're going to be getting more people in as the night goes on, so we're going to have a lot of readers here tonight. We're also going to be doing later on, so you know, the Revolutionary Poets Brigade is going to be putting together an anthology for the Los Angeles poets. We did our first anthology back about 3 years ago for the International Brigade. We have about 7 chapters right now worldwide. We're the 7th one here in Los Angeles. And we're going to be putting together an anthology for the LA poets. So later on, we're just going to do a pass hat, really informal for that. So pitch in what you can. Everything that's collected is going directly to funding the anthology. Nothing's in anyone's pocket. It's all for the group work. And also, there was a request. We have Patty, who's going to be live streaming for us tonight. Just get the word out there to the greater world, to everyone who can't make it here tonight. And so if you can pitch in a couple dollars on the side for Patty, that would be very appreciated also. She's been doing a lot of great work for the movement and Occupy, getting our actions seen by the world. So please support her as well. And
People can take note of the stream.
oh yes, Patty, what is the live stream address?
It's ustream.tv. It's you with the letter U, the word stream.tv/channel/PMbeers.
So you got that. Ustream slash ustream.tv/channel/PBeers. PMbeers.
Yeah.
And that's 2 E's. So kind of like the beers that you drink, not the beers that go after you and dig through your trash, that kind of stuff. Anyway, yes, don't get me joking, I'm a very bad comic. I'll leave that for our resident comic, Dylan. Anyway, that's what's going on tonight. So give me 30 seconds and we're going to get the event started officially, okay? Thanks, guys.
Hey, now, if you guys want to come down, we're at the Revolutionary, no, we're at the Last Bookstore. We're at the Last Bookstore. We're at 5th and Spring in downtown LA. How late is it going to go?
Okay, as you can see, the mic is very sensitive, so you don't need to get too close to it when you're reading. There's also sign-up lists in the back. If you haven't signed up already and you want to read tonight, make sure you sign up in the back so I can get your names. If you are on the list, if you signed in and you don't want to read, let me know. If you just signed in to sign in, let me know so I don't call you up. And so, your name is? I thought so, I didn't recognize that name. There you go. And is Kitty reading also? Is there a Kitty out there? Are you planning to read? Okay, I'll make sure not to call you then. Okay, that's good. Okay. Thank you and welcome to the Revolutionary Poets Brigade reading in honor of Muhammad Ibn al-Ajami. If you don't know who Muhammad is, he's a Qatarian poet who was arrested about 2 months ago, thrown in jail for life for reading a poem in support of the Tunisian uprising. And if you've heard poets around the world are outraged about this, we're having events like this one all over the globe in support of Muhammad. And so thank you very much for turning out for this very special event. It's very important that we stick together as poets and activists to make sure that our rights are being protected, and then for those whose rights aren't being protected, that we speak up and support them. So thank you very much for turning out for that. Before we get started with the reading, and for the poets just walking in, we have a sign-up sheet at the back, so please sign in so we can make sure that you read. High chance. That was out to you. Before we get started with the readings, we have a very special presentation from the brigade up in San Francisco. I was there about 10 days ago for an event similar to this one, where there was a reading of Muhammad's poem, Jasmine Revolution, which we'll be presenting here tonight for you, so you can kind of get a fuller understanding of him and his work, and why he was arrested and all that. And then we're going to go into the reading from there. So Peter, if you can cue up the video. And thank you.
And I'm with the Revolutionary Poets Brigade, and I'll simply serve as the namer of the folks who are going to read. We're here to use the word outrage in the title for Muhammad al-Ajami. He's a Qatar poet whom I think we all know by this time, has been given a life sentence and is in prison in Qatar. And I'm going to we're going to hear him first. And he's been translated by we have friends in this brigade, and also a wonderful translator of many poets. And I think the book on Najwan Darwish is coming out from New Directions Press. Who's a terrific young Palestinian poet. Many of us met through down the steps one evening here in the past. Anyway, you're going to hear, well, I'll let you. Please welcome Kareem James there.
So I'm going to read a poem by Muhammad al-Ajami, the Qatari poet who was apparently sentenced to life in prison recently. One thing, the trial, if it occurred, which it apparently did, it was a secret trial, so nobody really knows which poem put him in prison. There were two. One I saw last week looking at Arabic blogs. One which kind of was directed at the Emir, the ruler of Qatar, directly. Was actually the less incendiary of the two poems. And I started to try to translate that one, and it was a reply to a poem by somebody else, which was a reply to a poem by him. So it didn't really make much sense translating it, nor was it particularly interesting. Just for us, it was already embedded in this long chain of poems. The one that really probably put him in prison was about the revolution in Tunisia. And that's the one I'm going to read. People refer to it as the Jasmine Revolution poem. There's no title usually given to poems in Arabic, or a lot of poems don't have titles. So I'm going to read that one first in Arabic, and then in my English translation, which is a little bit free. You can tell the meter is very different. A few things about the poet real quickly. There are no poets from Qatar. Qatar is a tiny nation. There are no poets from Qatar who are well known anywhere in the Arabic world, including this person. Nor had I heard of him until he was arrested. It's an interesting poem. It's a kind of strange mix between standard classical Arabic and the Gulf dialects, which was a little bit difficult to translate. I assume that was intentional on the part of the poet, but it's a very odd mix. Usually poets will pick one or the other. They'll go for the dialect or they'll go for standard. And this one is kind of in between. I did hear some recordings of him reading it online, so I'll try to read it similarly to how he read it. There's a little bit of repetition. Occasionally you repeat stanzas, so you'll notice some repetition that's there, and then I've tried to capture a little bit in the English translation. So anyway, this is his poem on the Tunisian Revolution. The only two names that come up that you'll need to know are the former Prime Minister of Tunisia, Mohamed El-Ghannouchi, who was in power for a long time, and of course the former President Ben Ali, who was deposed by the revolution. And their names just come up at the beginning. So, يا الوزير الأول يا محمد الغنوشي، لو حصلنا صوتك مع حيبة دستورية. يا الوزير الأول يا محمد الغنوشي، لو حصلنا صوتك مع حيبة دستورية. ما بقينا ابن علي ولا بقينا عصرة، نعتبرها لحظة في العمر تاريخية، دكتاتورية نظام القمع واستبداده. عملت تونس عليها ثورة شعبية. إن ضمننا ما نلم إلا حقير وواطي، وإن مدحنا نمدح بقناعة شخصية. أنجزت الثورة بدم الشعب يا ثائرها، وانحت أمجاد الشعوب لكل نفس حية. كلهم في صوت من كفنا تشل كفة، كل نصر تستبقه أحداث مأساوية. عقبال البلاد اللي جهل حاكمها يحسب ان العزة في القوات الامريكية. عقبال البلاد اللي جهل حاكمها يحسب ان العزة في القوات الامريكية. عقبال البلاد اللي شعبها جايح والحكومة تفتكر في الطفرة المالية. البلاد اللي تنام مواطن معك جنسية وتصبح ما معك جنسية. وعقبال النظام القومي المتوارث، لا متى وانتو عبيد النزعة الذاتية، ولا متى والشعب ما يدري بقيمة نفسه، ذا يمثل ذا وآرائه كلها منسية. ليه ما يختار حاكم في البلد يحكمنا، يتخلص من نظام السلطة الجبرية؟ علم اللي مرضية نفسه ومثل شعبه، بكرة يجلس بدالة واحد بكرسية. علم اللي مرضية نفسه ومثل شعبه، بكرة يجلس بدالة واحد بكرسية. لا يحسب أن الوطن باسمه وباسم عياله. الوطن للشعب وأمجاد الوطن شعبية. رددوا والصوت واحد للمصير الواحد. كلنا تونس في وجه النخبة القمعية. رددوا والصوت واحد للمصير الواحد. كلنا تونس في وجه النخبة القمعية. الحكومات العربية ومن يحكمها كلها بلا استثناء حرامية. السؤال اللي يؤرق فكرة المتسائل لن يجد إجابته من كل جهة رسمية. دائما تستورد من الغرب كل أشياءها، ليه ما تستورد القانون والحرية؟ ليه ما تستورد القانون والحرية؟ Here's the English. So it sounds a little bit different in English. I'm not so good at channeling outrage. I've done my best. Prime Minister Mohamed El-Ghannouchi, if we measured your might, it wouldn't hold a candle to a constitution. We shed no tears for Ben Ali, nor any for his reign. It was nothing more than a moment in time for us, historical and dictatorial, a system of oppression, an era of autocracy. Tunisia declared the people's revolt. When we lay blame, only the base and vile suffer from it. And when we praise, we do so with all our hearts. A revolution was kindled with the blood of the people. Their glory had worn away, the glory of every living soul. So, rebel, tell them in a shrouded voice, a voice from the grave, tell them that tragedies precede all victories. A warning to the country whose ruler is ignorant, whose ruler deems that power comes from the American army. A warning to the country whose people starve while the regime boasts of its prosperity. A warning to the country whose citizens sleep. One moment you have your rights, the next they're taken from you. A warning to the system, inherited, of oppression. How long have all of you been slaves to one man's selfish predilections? How long will the people remain ignorant of their own strength while a despot makes decrees and appointments, the will of the people all but forgotten? Why is it that a ruler's decisions are carried out? They'll come back to haunt him in a country willing to rid itself of coercion. Let him know, he who pleases only himself and does nothing but vex his own people, let him know that tomorrow someone else will be seated on that throne. Someone who knows the nation's not his own, nor the property of his children. It belongs to the people, and its glories are the glories of the people. They gave their reply, and their voice was one, and their fate, too, was one. All of us are Tunisia in the face of these oppressors. The Arab regimes and those who rule them are all, without exception, without a single exception, shameful thieves. This question that keeps you up at night, its answer won't be found on any of the official channels. Why? Why do these regimes import everything from the West? Everything but the rule of law, that is, and everything but freedom. Thank you.